So it's my pleasure now to introduce Henry. Those of you that were here last year will remember Henry actually talked to us then as well. So Henry is one of our two directors at Jade that come to us from Skipton Building Society, our virtually 100% owners. And Henry's going to give us an update on the view from Skipton, how Skipton see things, Skipton in the world, and Jade. Thank you, Henry.
Pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Can I just check you can hear me okay in the back, Jen? Yeah. So in terms of Model T Fords, and so my connection was, as I say, Ford Fiestas convertibles. We owned car dealerships in the Midlands, in Coventry, and we have a lot of very old Model T Fords, old Ford fire engines, and lots of things like that. So I'll connect with you afterwards. So thanks, John. I'm Varney. There were fair few hands, kind of new hands. So the Chief Operating Officer of Skipton Building Society. We're a mortgage, savings and investment provider at our heart. I'll come a bit about size in a minute. We have a number of subsidiary companies, Jade, Northwest Investments, who I didn't mention at all last year, so I'm going to mention it twice, Northwest Investments to make up for last year. We own a real estate or rail business, one of the second largest in the UK, and a number of other subsidiaries as well. And I sit on the executive committee, as John says, also one of the shareholder directors on Jade. We own 99.9, never quite know where that gets in terms of recurring of Jade at the moment, so there are two other very minority shareholders. So as John says, I'll just do a little bit about Skipton, how we're doing, how we're not doing, and all those kind of things, and then just a bit about our kind of use of Jade. So that is our branding, if you see what I mean. You're not allowed to do to the Skipton hat on without some branding going on and everything like that. We've just gone back on TV for the first time in about 10 years. That's a representation of a castle. So Skipton has a pretty large castle, and it's about safe, secure, and trust placing your money with us. So it's quite a busy slide. Just what we call our results slide. So I'll just kind of bring out some of the details in it. So we now have about 1 million, just over 1 million members. We go back about 4 years ago, we set ourselves the target of 1 million members by the end of 2020, and we've achieved that about 2 years in advance. So what that means is the society is significantly growing. We're growing our mortgage and savings business probably by about 10% per year. Kind of organic market growth in the UK is about 1.5%. So we're taking significant market share, mostly off the big banks, who have kind of just have the Royal Commission, I think, going on in Australia. We had that 5, 6, 7 years ago. They needed to sort themselves out, and we came with the kind of trust angle, safety angle, great halo effect of a building society owned by its members, and enabled us to significantly grow ourselves over the last 4 or 5 years. We also play heavily on a kind of balanced scorecard, so both profit, customer experience, as well as a kind of people strategy. And we've done that hopefully successfully over the last 5 years. So Skipton's, we have what we call the top 100, so top 100 companies to work for. We've been in that for the last 3, 4, 5 years now. We win a lot of kind of customer experience awards in the UK. Another company called Direct, who's a HSBC subsidiary. Between the two of us, we've been customer experience awards. It's effectively the Jade platform that we have within the company. So we see significant profit growth this year underlying. We always have a few one-offs going through, but we make about £180 million a year, so that's about $360 million. Double it. $360 million a year. About $100 million of that goes through the core society. Our status goes off about £50-60 million, or $100 million a year. And we've successfully, as I say, grown over 3-4 years and grown profit, our people strategy, as well as all our customer. One bit of change that we've seen over the last kind of 18 months, I mentioned it, I think, when I was here last year, but it took off exceptionally. In the UK, we have a specific savings product called a lifetime ISA. That's only available to 18 to 39-year-olds, so I'm not able to take it out. But effectively, it's a government-sponsored initiative to put a first-time deposit down on a house. We were much first to market in that place. The Jade products and the Jade system enabling us to get there far quicker than anyone else. About 200,000 people have that in the UK, and we have about 70% market share of that, so 140,000 of those customers are with us. And we're a building society, so if I say our typical customer is more a kind of 60 to 65-year-old person with savings, an investment. So coping with 39-year-olds, I've realised, is quite a different way from a customer service and engagement point of view, as well as how they kind of deal with us and everything like that. It's also in a minute. We have a gentleman in the UK called Martin Lewis, who's a very big kind of financial spokesperson. He sends an email probably to about 15 million people every Wednesday morning. If you're mentioning that, if you're a relatively small organisation, your system won't survive by Wednesday lunchtime. It's pretty thing. So we were in that. We mentioned numerous times with the product, and all our systems, including all the back end, enable us to be probably 20-30 times what our normal traffic would be. So it's a huge success. Been part of that member growth, but has been very interesting with both an operations and IT hat on how we cope with that product. So effectively, this shows you some balance sheets, technical things from an accounting point of view, but I've just looked at the lots on your bottom right-hand side, and that's just our growth over the last 3 or 4 years. And if I project forward about where we want to see it, it will continue that compound annual growth rate of about 10%. So we're keen to effectively try and increase the size of Skipton by 50% over the next 5 years. So we're strong financially. We have a lot of capital, so we have a lot of stuff in our back pocket that we can deploy in case something happens. Some of you, especially if you're in the UK or have a UK background, following what's called Brexit at the moment. The meaningful vote is happening tomorrow. I haven't a clue what's going to happen. It's been an utter disaster. But we're well placed to take advantage away of any downturn that does exist. We wouldn't mind a little mild recession, take a bit of competition out of the market. We're in a very strong place to grow. The UK. We wouldn't mind that in a way. We would use our strength to take advantage of that. So, the purpose of that is to summarise that Skipton's in a very good place. Jade, very, very supportive of Jade, and very supportive of the growth plans that Jade has in place. So then just a little bit about kind of Jade and what we use it for and why we use it. It's kind of where I see it's kind of something like that. So it's our core mortgage and savings platform. So those million customers all reside on that platform. It does all our processing, all our administration, and all our servicing of those. It's hugely operationally resilient. Trendy word in the UK at the moment with our regulators. We've had a series of financial services IT issues over the last 3 years. And the word operation resilience, you'll have the word conduct risk and conduct, and treat the customers fairly come in through the Royal Commission. We had that 5 years ago, and we now have what we call operational resilience coming. It can scale, and it's got the product flexibility that I talked about, and the lifetime in the UK is our best example of that. We have excellent workflow capabilities that we built within that tool. So a lot of people talk about robotics and automation, what robotics can do. Actually, we do a lot of what robotics does within our Jade tooling with our Jade workflow system. So we will deploy robotics, but it's probably tactical deployment rather than a kind of revolutionary deployment, because we use most of that capability that we've built within the Jade product. We probably have one of the lowest cost of operations in the UK in terms of our savings processing, partly because of the Jade workflow. It does enable digitalisation. Enabling digitalisation, so the UK is going through what we call open banking at the moment. So that's the opening of all these kind of ever so closed systems, driving automation, driving APIs, driving kind of data exchange, and trying to make a much more kind of better banking journey than probably you do experience on a day-to-day basis at the moment. And mortgages is a heavy play for us in that. So, well done. We're developing all of that through kind of Jade. We have what we call a service-orientated architecture. So we have Jade at the back end, a product called TIPCO as our service layer, and then we do .NET Microsoft stuff right at the front end. But all of that capability is effectively being driven by the Jade back end, and that's where we do all the what I call the hard work rather than the easy work at the front end, but some people would disagree with that. And then we have a fairly large online savings proposition. All these lifetime ISA customers come for us online. We didn't launch it as a branch product, we launched it as an online-only product. Of those million customers, there's probably about 300,000 of those now online. As I say, all operating eventually into the Jade platform and writing back stuff into the Jade platform.
and we were really, really pleased how it did scale, as I say, when we put some pretty serious demand on it as we went through the lifetime ISA product and what we call our ISA season, which is like our kind of closing down Christmas sales and everything like that. And then just a few stats, some of which if you need some more questions or answers on, I might need to ask someone else in the room as to what they mean, but I just thought I'd try and show some of the scale and breadth that we use the Jade product. So I'm actually going to go from the bottom to start with. So in the society we have about 2,200 employees. Clearly not all use the core mortgage and savings system, but about 1,200 are on it any day of the week. And we, as I say, we have about 300 registered customers coming through the online channels, and nearly all of our broker business, our mortgage business, is done through brokers, not direct, and they all interact online with us as well. As I say, we do about 1 million individual Jade transactions a day. That peaks clearly at a higher rate than that at times when we're going through ISA season, but it is probably fairly constant as well going on. Just above that, we are upgrading to Jade 2018. That's on track at the moment for a May release. I look at people in the room who are doing some of the work on it, all looking okay at the moment. We're in testing and parallel running of that at the moment, and touch some wood, and hopefully we'll go live on that in May. Yeah, we have a pretty big, I think, Jade production environment, huge amount of test systems, huge amount of environments supporting that. Some small clients, some kind of big environments and stuff, some pre-prod and stuff like that. But overall, we're, I guess, a pretty extensive Jade user. And the aim of it was just to try and show you really some of the scale that we do try and put through the Jade platform. So that was all I was going to talk about, I guess, in summary. The owner of Jade is a strong and growing and profitable building society in the UK. We are supporting Jade and will continue to support Jade. We're a long-term user of that product and a long-term user in scaling that product as well, as you've seen from our growth points of view. So I'm more than happy to take any questions. I'm around for most of the day until about 4 o'clock, and then I do fly back to the UK. But happy to take any questions on any specifics if anyone has any. If not, thank you very much indeed, and I'll hand over to Charlotte.